like you're a fountain of energy. It's just like a fountain of energy that I'm not strangling right now. Now I don't have a physical body. I'm just it. And I'm questioning myself, what is this place? What's next? Then a light shows up at the end, the traditional light at the end, which the speed that I move to the light, that you're asking, is the speed that I want to go to the light. It's not necessarily a tunnel, but that's the effect that we get.
I'd like to welcome to the show, Salvador. How you doing, Salvador?
Very good, Alex. Thanks for having me. Very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, my friend, and sharing your unique experience with the audience. So I have to ask you, my first question was, what was your life like prior to your near-death experience?
It was, I was very, very happy child, but always attracted. I was what we call a spaced out kid. Mm-hmm. The one that people don't know where it is. When he is, he's up in the tree, or he's somewhere in the forest looking to a rabbit or something. But it was very good, very spaced out. I did have a drug abuse period from my 14s to my 24s. Normal, I guess, as you do. And then I got into rehab, got myself cleaned up, everything by the book, the service, the meetings, all of the forget what your head tell you and follow direction. And then 4 years into my rehab, I went through depression. And on my depression, I had a clear desire to die. I was so depressed that I said, I'd rather go. To be here like this, I'd rather go. It was not because of being sober. It was not because if I cannot have fun, if I cannot party, then let me go. It was not that. But just life, circumstances of life led me to depression. It happens to many. Mm-hmm. And that's when I had my first heart attack. In 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks after I had that profound and honest desire of, I'm done, I don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. It was 2 3 weeks I was going. Heart attack.
So then one of the lessons we should learn here is be careful what you wish for, because it just might happen. So let me ask you, were you spiritual at all? Did you have any religious background before this experience?
Yes, very. Not only I was raised in a Catholic family, very traditional, very European, I was going to church every Sunday with the family since I remember. And then I did a few years in a Catholic school till I think I was 10 or something. And not only that, I would have, I had many episodes of when somebody would die a couple of days later. Somehow I always had a weird reaction to when people die, either close family or far or friends of friends. It was weird. I never took it as they're gone. It was weird. I don't know how to describe it, but I was not very affected by it. Sometimes I would try to look sad because otherwise people are gonna judge you or something. But and then many times I would see them. They would come to me in the most unexpected moments, and they would come as a typical ghost. The cloud with their face and body. They usually would come smiling, radiating this joy and happiness, and they would come to me, and there would be that download of the message, the intention, their energy, and then they would disappear. And I was like, wow, what can I say to people now?
Okay, so when this first happened, I mean, did you think, was it during the times that you were, dealing with drug abuse and addiction, or was it after that point?
No, it was before. During was different. During was completely different. It's we can speak about that a little bit too, because there's a topic I wanted to touch on that. Was always first one was before I even know what drugs were.
Oh, so you were a kid when it first happened. You were a
Yes.
kid. So when that
Yes.
first happens to you as a kid, you can't even process that. You're so young. How did you like lose your, like, did you get scared, or did you have a feeling of peace around you or comfort? How did that feel?
The energy was so good and so pure and reassuring that I didn't feel scared or worried or anything at all. I was excited with it.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see it? No, nobody saw. Everybody carried on doing what they were doing. And then I would have what was the whole point of it? What was the message that I would have to share to someone? And go from there. And some people didn't even care when I told them. Like, yeah, whatever. Other people more spiritually inclined paid attention to it. Oh, yeah, okay, but nobody ever took it too seriously, as you do.
And you didn't either at that point either.
It was exciting. It felt good. It felt reassuring. And because I was a person at that time, I was already just looking at space constantly, looking for signs, messages, what's beyond, what's after that line, what are we, I was always a kid like that. I was always very I was never too worried about the normal concerns.
So you said you wanted to touch upon this in that 10-year time period when you were dealing with addiction. How did these abilities, if you will, or this thing, did it ever manifest during that time period, or how did it change your outlook on spirituality, all of that?
It's different. It clouded it on the real honest connection, the cleanliness and that purity of that loving energy that you have no doubts, and it's bigger than us and takes over, as opposed to drugs where it's a cloud. It's like a train in a different direction. It clouded my real spirituality. Yes, it opened, and I was doing psychedelics for many years. For 10 years, my main thing was psychedelics. I was searching for that psychedelic knowledge. I wanted to pick up where they left in the 60s. I said, people, that was important. We need to pick up on what they were doing. And so, yes, it did. The drugs do open many windows and do break many barriers, and they are very, very, very useful if used to their purpose. However, they're still tools for the physical world. They're still tools for us here in the physical matter, in our bodies and in our dealing with others. So they are very useful, but they are not the direct line and communication to the other side.
To my understanding, I've never partaken, and I've spoken about psychedelics on the show before multiple times because I'm fascinated with them because they are this very unique doorway into the beyond. But I think it was a yogi who said this to me once. It's like when you take a psychedelic, you're walking in a door that you weren't invited into. And you might not be prepared for what is on the other side of that door. Is that ring true to you?
Yes, yes. And I found that with me, I always had a desire. I searched for them.
Sure.
So I read about it. I saw some things, and I was like, "That's what I want. I want it. That's what I need." So in 10 years, maybe I had 2 bad episodes. Besides that, I always use it as I wanted it, and because I wanted it. It was all, yes, you get a lot of surprises. Undoubtedly, you get a lot of surprises. If people take them without really wanting them or really being ready or just wanting them, if you don't really want them, you know that either it's going to the movies or to a restaurant. If you're not fully in, then you're not going to enjoy it fully. So there are many bad episodes and many stories of, I agree with that, but I think I was invited.
You were invited to a certain extent, So during all that time, when you came out of this time period of experimenting with these drugs, what ideas or what vision did you have of the beyond, of why we're here? Because you said you went into a deep depression afterwards. What was it that started to drive you down that deep depression? If you were basically, I'm saying, you got to see the other side. You got to visit this other place. You got to visit beyond the veil. You got answers that most humans don't get by doing these kind of, opening these doors that we just don't get access to unless you do meditation or other kind of spiritual practices that you can go deep into those things. You were going all the time. And then what happened to the point where you had to kind of go down this? Because if you're shown the other side, you would think you'd be, oh, wow, this is happy. Oh my God, this is great. What caused you to go down this depression level that led to your near-death experience?
Well, so after 4 years of not doing any drugs, alcohol, anything, no substances, and being sober, which is brilliant. I love being sober. Being sober is, I love it. I was just dealing with the human narrative, the social narrative, the human conditions, and at the time was just me realizing. Well, first I had to deal with the consequences of my usage. There was things I've been involved with that had consequences on the sociable side of life, and so I had to deal with them. So that was stressing me out. And then because I was such a changed person, so my spirituality came strong sober. The clarity and the spirituality came very strong sober, but I still had to do with the consequences of my previous actions. And me being a new person and not having the immediate acknowledgement of society around me, my depression is my cause. Like everything else that I experienced in my life, that was all my cause. So I started getting frustrated and upset that people could not see me by the new person that I was. I was still, for everyone else, I was still just a drug addict. So after 4 years, I think I lost patience. And then, you go the rabbit hole. I started being depressed and upset that people were not, I was not getting the reaction that I wanted, which is powerlessness. And that led me to being depressed. Things were not happening as I wanted.
That makes
sorry.
No, in some instances.
In some areas, yes, in some areas. The ones that I would consider emotionally important to me. Yes, I was good for society. I have a job. I pay my bills. I am cleaned and nice clothes, and I do the right thing. And I'm not just a wandering
nomad. Right. No, I understand that. That makes absolute sense, because the thing that fascinates me about your story is that you had these spiritual and kind of insights. What is the biggest lesson you took from seeing things from the other side? Not from your addiction, which there's probably 1,000 lessons you learned from your addictions, but from the other side, these glimpses, these trips that you took. What is the biggest takeaway?
That's one of the points I wanted to touch, still on the substances, and then I can resume that part really shortly, because again, all the drugs that I tried, and I wanted to refer to DMT, because recently I've seen a discussion of people comparing DMT experiences with, or any psychedelics experience with a near-death experience, and
it is not, apparently. That's interesting, because you've had both. I haven't had anybody on the show that's had both experiences, so this is a good point.
I've had both more than once, and it's nothing to do. And that's why the lessons I took from my drug addiction, they were fun. They lead you to conspiracy theories, new ways of living, changing the world. Yes, that's all nice and pretty, and it's all. I wouldn't call it folklore, because it's not folklore. It's all very needed to the evolution of society. But they're physical matter-based tools and experiences. So compared to the near-death experience, they were fun. Drugs are fun. It's the same as having a coffee, or. It was
very, very almost shallow. It wasn't deep, if you will. They're fun, like shallow, like, oh, fun. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. But it's like dating a pretty girl. It's beautiful, but if she, after a certain point, if you don't go any deeper and you can't have a conversation, it's not fun anymore. So those are the combinations, or a good looking guy if you're a girl, so on and so forth. There has to be a deeper connection. So it's okay. So that's a really great point for people to understand. For your psychedelic experiences, they only took you so far, and they were fun, as opposed to the near-death experience, which took you to a deep place. So let's discuss, how did you How did you get to your first near-death experience, or after you had your heart attack? What happened exactly?
Yes, you were asking for my biggest take. So the process is strange, because I was fighting it. I felt I was alone and somewhere isolated. I was 100 yards from the house, and I fell on the floor, and there was no one around me. And you start, your body hurts, and your heart doesn't work, so there's no blood flowing. You cannot breathe, and you cannot breathe for a long time, and the pain is excruciating. That your soul starts moving away from your body. And that's when I realized, okay, this is something serious and I must be dying. So I didn't want to die. But at each time I dissociate from my body. And again, this has nothing to do with a meditation or out of body experience. It's different. The words is difficult to find, but the experience is completely different. As you separate from the physicalness, and this is where the lesson started, because I see that my body, the molecules of my body, the molecules of the sand, the trees, the brick wall, the wind, there's no transparency. There is transparency, but the air is not empty anymore. You see the electricity and molecules going through everywhere. You understand that everything is made of the same thing. It's just different densities of electric current. And it starts not to hurt as I move more into this area. And then you see that the tree is alive and the floor is alive and my body is still alive. Even if I'm not in it, my body, muscles, molecules, they're still live in it, still matter. And that's when I accepted I was dying, and I said, okay, leave it. It doesn't hurt anymore. It feels blissfully amazing, better than any cocktail of drugs that I could ever imagine. Doesn't even compare. And that's when I went to have a life review. And,
when you say shush, what exactly is hush? Is it is there a tunnel? Are you instantly there by like the power of thought or intention? Like, what is whoosh? I need the definition.
Acceptance and surrendering. So the barriers disappear. The barriers disappear.
All the barriers here on Earth. Yeah. It sounds like when you're explaining it, it almost sounds like you're seeing the code of the Matrix. You start 100%. Seeing behind. You're becoming Neo in many ways, and start seeing all the code behind what's happening. Is that a good example?
100%. You understand how you can pass through that wall, through that coding energy wall, because you're made of the same energy. So you just change the density and you go through it. And because it's new information for me and I'm accepting it, and okay, so I'm dying. Oh, but I'm not dead. So that's the first take. Like, I'm not dead. My body's over there and it's broken. I'm not dead, and I'm going through changes. I see physical reality over there, and I'm going through this passage of a cloud, confusion. But at the same time that you have a question, the answer comes immediately from, oh, what is this? And clarification comes. You say, oh, there's more. So then I go into a dark section. And then, but I'm still feeling, it's indescribable. It's like you're a fountain of energy. It's just like a fountain of energy that I'm not strangling right now. Now I don't have a physical body. I'm just it. And I'm questioning myself, what is this place? What's next? Then a light shows up at the end, the traditional light at the end, which the speed that I move to the light, that you're asking, is the speed that I want to go to the light. It's not necessarily a tunnel, but that's the effect that we get.
Got it.
Because we're going to that light.
And then when you get there, and so when you get to the light, what happens?
By this time, I already see what I am as an energy body, a light source connected to an origin, but I am a light source. I am energy. But this one is like huge, and the energy that blows onto me, it's bright, powerful, and full of information. It's you know, I'm like, wow. And starts answering my questions. I am, because the consciousness is the same. Keep in mind that I found that this is the most difficult sometimes to explain. When you leave your body and your consciousness is the same, so you can still hear your way of thinking and asking questions and being. You're still you, even if when you get there, before that entity, let me add something. Before that entity started to speaking, there's this moment, the relief moment after you go through the tunnel. It's like you arrive, and I heard this many expression from many near-death experiences, because I did connect to many, and we all share the same feeling. It's like you arrive home after a long week of hard work, and you throw your shoes off and you get your shirt off. It's a relief. It's like, wow, what a week. What a life.
Right.
And it's like you're connected to the other parts of you that you have not been using or thinking about the last week, day, or 50 years, or 100 years. So you get reunited with all of it. So you not only feel amazing, as you feel whole, you feel your whole self, your whole identity, your whole essence of who you are. And it's the biggest relax you can ever have. It's like, okay, I'm here. What's going on?
So you're speaking to, so you get here and this being's in front of you. What happens next? You mentioned a life review. How did that happen?
I ask, what am I doing here? What is this? What am I doing here? And the what is this? I don't need the answer is like embedded already immediately just by being in there. You get the knowledge, you get the knowing of, you don't need that question anymore. Immediately that question is gone off the window. I forget that because I got the answer already. It's so obvious who you are and what's going on. What was not obvious was, what am I doing here? And it starts like a screen between us, like you see in those war movies in the submarine where there's the glass screen between the two officers, and they can, so this screen falls in front of us, and my life starts showing from the moment I'm born to when I'm 3 years old, but the movie has all the emotion and all the context and all the narrative of the time being, of that time. It's like in the present. And we go through it, and then there was moments where I had some questions. I was like, oh, what was that? What happened there? And the movie would pause. We would have an exchange of information. What was it? What wasn't? What was at play? What was not? What was the pressure? What was the condition? What was influencing the whole situation? Why I decided like I decided? What I chose? What the others around me chose? Oh, okay. Pure love is exposed from all participants. Everyone was always acting out of pure love. So there's no guilt, there's no remorse, there's no resentment, there's no anger anymore, because you can understand that people are acting out of love. They're doing what they believe is the best. So we cleaned up that situation. Okay, carry on, and we move on to the next one until the end. And then I was there until the moment I died on the floor. And it was like, you asked, and then you asked for this, and here you are. So there's your answer. You asked for this.
Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. So after you went through your life review and you felt, like I've heard in other life reviews, did you feel both sides? So if you hurt somebody, you felt what they felt, and you also felt what you felt while you were doing it. Is that true?
Yeah. And
how did you deal with that? Did you look at it more from because we here are so emotional and we feel everything so much. But when you were looking at it from a point of view of a movie, quote unquote, or a life review, are you looking at it from a different perspective? You feel it, but you don't feel it. It's more for information and less for the pain. Did you feel pain? Did you feel anger? None of that stuff. How did you feel?
You feel it, but you're not that person on the screen anymore. Now you're over self, you're over soul, you're your whole self. So you see what that It's like if you hammer your nail, and it's like, oh, the nail hurts, but I'm great with that. It's just a hammer in my nail. So that's the proportion of the whole self watching this lifetime. It's like, oh yeah, that was complicated at the time for that person over there being me. But also you understand that whatever situation happened, and there's no excuses. You see that it was your asking. You wanted something, you just didn't know how to get it, and that situation gave you. It all comes from us. It's all the experience that we get here. It's all from us. It's a reply. It's a response to us. Even when someone is rude to me on the street, they haven't been rude for me for 20 years. But all those circumstances that we experience in life, they are self-made. They are all from us. They're all a response. They're a response to us. And to a larger scale, the same goes through seeing aliens or not. They're a response to our requests. Everything is energy and focus and expectation, and belief brings it to you or not. And that is just to a smaller level. Everything that happened with family, with friends, with coworkers, it's all an asking. However, like a theater play, you also need somebody to play the other role. And going back to family, as you know, that we all agreed, we all chose to be here. I chose to be born with my parents. My parents chose to have a son like me. We chose to play this role this time, being born in Portugal and going through all of this. It was our choice in advance, because we know we don't die. It's like, okay, let's go to this ride. Let's do this ride. Who wants to come? Okay, you're going to play this. You're going to play that. You're going to play that. So you see, so it was actually satisfying. From the other side, even the painful situations, they're satisfying to see the unconditional love and the joy of understanding. Oh, the system works. Because I was looking for that. I was looking for a consequence. So that was the cause. So we created the cause for that consequence. And it all depends on what we want and what we're looking for. So it will happen. Matter will happen for our requests. It's what you wish for. It's what you wish for.
So it's very, I mean, it is kind of like the law of attraction or manifestation. You do truly control the world that you're around with what you think. So your thoughts are extremely powerful. So if you think you're a bad person, bad things are going to, now you're a bad person, you feel like things are always going bad for you. Guess what? Things are always going bad for you. If you think things are always going to go good for you, things are always going to go good for you. It's like, I think it was a Henry Ford. He said, he's like, if you believe that you are, what is it? If he said that, I forgot the quote, but I think it was Henry Ford that said, whether you believe you can do it or you can't, you're right. And that's exactly it. So you're kind of reinforcing those ideas from your life review, which is really interesting. I wanted to kind of spotlight that a little bit, because a lot of people still have a problem with the whole law of attraction thing. And I'm like, manifestation is a real law. It's how you do it. And that's a whole other conversation. Now you're done with your life review. You've looked at your life. You're like, this was nice. This was good. I had some, quote unquote bad stuff, which I wanted. I had some good stuff that I wanted. We all played our roles. Then what? You asked for this. Did the question come? Do you want to come back? Do you want to stay? How did that go?
This is making a long episode very short, but yes, because you get exposed to, in my case at least, and let me also say that the same way that I know that on the planet we're all different perspectives of the same, I know that many near-death experiences, then they divert on their own searches and their own beliefs and their own quests and their own. So I know many near-death experiences different than mine, even if the core is the same. Like the settings are the same. It's just different desires and questions. In my case, so I would like to say that in my case, you are so if you are in a place where you see, as this entity is speaking with me, you can still see all energy fields around.
Okay.
Another thing interesting was each time I would phrase a question, the question has images and vibration to it, as a frequency, because am I talking about people or emotions? Those have colors and they have an energy current. Other scenario. So there's the explanation of how every thought, every emotion has essence. It's energy. They have colors, they have densities, they have currents, they have speeds. So everything exists. Thought is the most important thing, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I see other souls, I see other worlds, I see other possibilities of options. So there's a moment where we are neutral, and there's an option. I'm facing the neutrality of, I could actually choose where to go now in every direction around me, like a globe of directions around me. I could go any direction. There's different ways to experience my soul, to go have fun, to go grow, to go experience next. Because that's the other thing. It is blissful to be there. It is the best feeling ever. You feel, because that was my conclusion at the time. So, wow, but now I feel great here. I don't feel like a stranger here anymore. I feel very comfortable here. This is great. This is beautiful. However, you also feel the constant growth. Like energy doesn't stop. Like, you feel the curiosity, okay, well, what's next? So I had to make a choice. And I did have a lot of love for the planet, for the people that I know, for things I still wanted to try. So immediately it's understood between us that, yes, I would like to come back. And I saw other souls floating around. It's a weird place. But I did feel like I wanted to come back. And that's obvious. So then there's not even a question. There's not a discussion. He was in that posture of, okay, what do you want to do? That was the moment of neutrality. But from the moment that my first option was, oh, I miss the earth, I love it, it was obvious, okay, then it's time to go back. And you answer your own question, is then off you go. And then I came.
You got slammed back into your body.
Progressively, like the same kind of speed, but seeing the light going away, coming back to my body. I felt I was 2 hours speaking with this entity. The doctor says was around 30 minutes. And out of nothing, I have a breath of air. And I'm still on the floor. I have sand on my face. I think I feel flies and ants and sand. And I managed to crawl a little bit and then tried to get up and to get air. And I got home and just had the time and energy to say, call an ambulance. And then I fell back again.
Okay, so before we continue, let's go back to this kind of way station. I'll call it a way station where you were, where all these other souls are all choosing. When you're in that space, you said you saw other realities, other worlds. What did you see? Like literally.
First, I'm going to start by seeing the planet Earth, what now looks gigantic and enormous, and I need a plane to go to it. Yeah. As I move away, you see it becoming the size of a tiny bit of a sand grain. And then that value, that energetic value that the Earth has, the color, the energetic, the density, the energies around it, all the electricity, then you have endless of those.
Mm-hmm.
Endless
Earths or endless of planets?
I didn't see the physicality. I only saw the energetic value. I didn't see the if it's blue with trees, or if it has giant lizards, or if it's yellow sand or jelly. I didn't see any of those details.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, when colors and vibrations, if that's the reference of the Earth, it's that color and that vibration with that speed, and that's what's around it, that everything makes sense. Then all other ones that have different colors and different vibrations and sometimes similar, and that was the part of the knowledge that was embedded in you immediately just by being there. I didn't ask about it. I didn't ask, oh, is that another planet? It was just obvious. It's just a knowing. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm back here. And then when he opens to that neutrality, to the way station,
mm-hmm.
you feel no restrictions to walk this direction or that direction. And that's where I saw the power of focus. How important is focus? So, meaning where you...
So wherever you're focusing, you could have instantly gone to another planet, correct. Let's say.
Correct.
So you only saw the energetic value of these other planets, but you didn't see the details of these planets. You could just understood, okay, that's A, this is B, that's C, this is D kind of energy. But you knew instinctively what you would be going towards. If you went to planet D, you'd go, oh, I'm going to be able to experience this on that planet, and so on. Does that kind of make sense?
You feel it. Exactly. You feel the essence of where you want to step into. You feel it.
So then what about realities? You said you also saw other realities. What does that mean?
Well, because I don't know if they would be physical or non-physical. I don't know if they would be, that, how can I explain this? And because of the density, you see the density and the colors, and you're free to get into that room.
Mm-hmm.
And you're free to get into this room. And this room is the planet Earth where I've been living lately. And the doors were open. There was options. There was free will to move in either direction. But I'm moving not with this body. I'm moving just with my soul's essence, or part of it. That's the other part that I still don't know. I don't think it's the whole thing. I think it's just part of it. But there was no interest. The vibrations that I felt from the other options, they were not as attractive as planet Earth, either by experience or just because I don't know if I've been there before. I don't know if it was just not that attractive, but there was nothing more exciting than coming back to that, to here.
I hear that multiple times from multiple people that Earth it's a really tough place to be. And from our point of view, it's a very tough place to be. On the other side, it is a very exciting place to be because you can evolve so much quicker here because things are so much more difficult here. This is a gym. You're going to work out really hard here, to get to where you're. Is that kind of your essence as well? Understanding?
It was before. It's not anymore. And I'm very careful. It took me years of working on saying those words, for example. I had to remove those concepts out of my existence here because I know the power of thought now.
Got it.
This is very hard. It's not. It's not hard. It's only hard if you want it. Right?
Exactly. But you have to evolve to the place on here to understand that it's not hard. Like
right,
it is.
correct.
You have the potentiality here to be as hard as you want it to be, which might not be in other realities, other planets, other situations. That might not even be a possibility in another reality or another planet. But on this one, you can make this as hard as you want. But if you evolve past those ideas, then you start understanding the way the game is played here, the rules of this game, and you start to elevate yourself or evolve to a higher state where then, because look, there's a lot of people who live a very blissful life here on Earth, and there's people who are absolutely miserable, and everything in between. So it is a very interesting place, isn't it?
Very. And yeah, and it took me time as well, obviously, to get there. But I guess the biggest take, one of the other biggest takes that I could mention also on this subject, which is, I got to be honest, I think it's easy for me to say because I understood immortality, I understood eternity, I understood that the biggest concept, and I tried to share to people, all my friends and family when I came back. I said, don't worry with that. I have to do this, don't worry with that. Doesn't matter. Just chill. Just chill. Just feel it. Just let it feel. Just chill. And once you shift that other version of you, which are chilled just for being here and now, different world. Different. It's a different world. But it depends on you. So that was my biggest struggle after being here was, and then as you know, some people are not interested in that. No, because I have to press, and I'm gonna get it, and I'm to blame too. I'm at the job. I work. I'm back in physicality. I have a job still. I still do a 9 to 5. I've been having incredible years, but I still have, I'm a period of change myself. I'm in a pivoting point, I believe, like the whole world. However, that was the biggest. That's why I think I'm not worried, because I know I'm not dying. What's the worst that can happen? Die? Sure, that's not bad. That's awesome. I go back to the reset button. Okay, what's next? Let's go. of feeling blissful again and choosing another point of starting. What's wrong with it? So
it sounds so much like a game. It sounds literally like a video game. Like you go, you change your avatar, you come back, you die. You're like, oh, great, I get to go back and try the levels again. Or maybe I'll change it to a new environment or a new world and try those levels. Maybe I'll be a guy this time. Maybe I'll be a girl this time. I'll have a fun parent. Maybe I'll have an abusive parent. I don't know, whatever. It's kind of a game. You're making it sound very game-like.
Yes, and to not take that game seriously at all, which I do that exercise regularly too, because I chose, there was another important understanding, to have full clear in me that I chose to come back. And this time I have the memory of it. I didn't forget about it. I chose to come to the planet. I chose to come back because it's fun with all the issues that, and again, I had another heart attack after this experience. So I still was hurting myself. I still did something. I caused on me another event of pain, but still, this is a lot of fun. And I chose to come here. So having that in mind, that you don't die, that you chose to come here, should be enough. And then when you realize what is here? Okay, it's a rock floating at thousands of miles an hour on another mass of rocks on an empty space. What are you stressing about? Tell me again, what's your problem?
So you also, you mentioned that you had another near-death experience. Is this, you had two or just the one?
Well, the same day of my first heart attack, I was far in the countryside. So it took time for people to take me to the closest medical center. Immediately, the doctor said, this guy is having a heart attack, this guy is dying, call an ambulance. They put me on an ambulance. And when I get to the ambulance, I've asked the medics, said, give me some painkillers. I'm in excruciating pain. This hurts. Please give me medicine. And obviously my family informed them that everyone around me at that day thought that I was having an overdose. They thought, oh, this guy just went back. He went back strong. He was clean for 4 years. That thing that you hit him too hard is gone.
Right.
I couldn't blame him, but
I mean, to be fair, that makes all the sense in the world.
And I was like, give me, what did you take? I took nothing. Give me, now I need something. Give me everything. I need something. And they didn't want to give me anything. I asked at the clinic. I asked, then when I got to the ambulance, I thought, okay, these guys are with me. This guy's going to give me the good stuff. And they, no, we cannot give you because we think we're having a overdose. I was like, right. And that moment I had that moment of clarity of, oh, I forgot I'm dealing with humans again. Why did I come back here? I don't have time for this. So listen, I just came from up there, from the source. I'm back and I'm telling you I need this. If you're not going to give me, I don't have time for this. I literally don't have time for this. And I got to go back again.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's not helping your cause at all. telling the ambulance people this?
I'm not telling like this.
Okay.
But this was my reaction. But this was my thinking.
Okay, thank God, because I thought you were saying this to the ambulance.
No.
The EMT's going, listen, guys, I just went to the other side, and I don't have time for this. I'm in pain. I chose to come back. Like I thought that was the conversation, because they would have put you straight into the psych ward right afterwards.
They'll tie me up. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is what's going on in your mind. Okay. So then what happens?
Yes. I was just asking for the stuff. And as I'm asking, I have these realizations in my head. Oh, shoot, humans, I'm doomed. Because I just came from a spiritual side. So, waking up where I am and I realized, well, to be like this again. Okay. No, I'd rather go back up. I'd rather go to the spiritual side then. And all these episodes that are happening, I see the power of focus, intention, and expectation. These for me have been the most powerful subjects to clarify to whoever I can. Whatever you think, whatever you believe and expect, right? Because you need the expectation. Expectation is like the D magnet to a belief that you have, being good or bad, regardless of good and bad being just perspective, right? So from the moment it was like wherever I was pointing my eyes, okay, I want to point my eyes to Earth again. I'm going back to my Earth suit. I'm back on Earth. I said, no, I want to point out to God again, or to this source of energy that I was just in. And from the moment I released and surrendered to the physical matter again and focused on my non-physical life, I went immediately. I left the body and went straight up again. And there he was. There it was again. Same universe again. This time was different. It was just being there in the loveliness of the being. There was not many questions at the time. It was just being in that beautiful, just being. But then it kicks in again. The curiosity doesn't last long, because then you have to move, you have to grow, there's no stopping. That was another thing, is no stopping. And they brought me back to life. This was the time that the medics brought me back to life the first time. And I wake up, I was a bit angry with them at the time, because like, well, you don't take care of me when I'm on the planet and you don't let me be on the other side. What's going on? Just make up your mind. And they were like, okay, we'll give you some drugs. Because they saw that I passed out, that I left the body again, right? Or they didn't saw me leaving the body, but they saw that I think I went flatline again. I think that's what happened on their side. And they gave me some morphines and some stuff, and I was like, okay. Nothing like a drug addiction compared to this. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just another mental conflict and a choice. Not to minimize, I get in trouble a lot. I've done, I think, 5 podcasts, interviews, different caliber of interviewers. Not to this level, but
appreciate that.
I did get in trouble sometimes, and I did get some backlash. But if I'm not honest with what I know and what I experience, even if I know that it's referring to my experience, then it's pointless. And yeah, so mental conflict. It's all a mental conflict, and you'll be free to let go of any mental conflict that doesn't serve you. It's just, I don't have time for it. I don't want it.
So when you came back, was that was the last time you got to go back up?
That episode, yes, because then they took me to the hospital to do some surgeries and some stuff, and I asked for more drugs because I was still in pain, and they gave me more, to the point where I was relaxed, and I knew the knowing is so strong. Once that entity, the connection with that entity stayed present through the whole time. It's like it was holding my hand through the whole process. From the moment I managed to wake up, get some air, and walk home I knew I was going to survive all of this. It's just how easy or how hard it was going to be, but I knew I was going to go to walk again, and to smile again, and to be happy again. It was just the process to get there. So that was the last time. And then that's when I got introduced to channeling, because at the time I didn't know what channeling was, but that entity was present with me all the time. Not all the time, but each time I had a question again, or I just wanted to feel that loving, unconditional love, out of worry, out of judgment position, I would just call it and let it come. And for 1 year, I was having conversations. I would let it come. He would take over my mouth and speak words. And this was, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago. I had no idea what channeling was. So I stayed in that period for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, asking questions, asking for help, asking for guidance, people would come to me, and I would just tell them, this is no way to live. You cannot live.
This is no way to live. You can't live like this.
That's not what you're here for. Don't worry with that. That's not what you're here for. You just focus on your joy. Just be happy. What makes you happy? So obviously, I did get a lot of backlash from people that I knew on podcasts, because sometimes that voice still takes over me and speaks and says things, and sometimes I apologize, sometimes no. Though today I don't apologize anymore, because it's very blunt. It's very, and everything goes always back to the same. Do what makes you happy, what excites you, what do you want to do? You chose to come here, so what? Well, what do you want to do with all of this? Use your thoughts, use your imagination, what makes you happy. You chose to come enjoy physicality. How long more do you want to enjoy physicality? Are you still happy there? You still want to enjoy more physicality? Then go do what makes you happy. That's it. Just go do what makes you happy. People get offended. People get, I don't care.
Listen, from somebody who's now talked to, I don't know, 50 channels or more at this point, from my experience, most of them, if not all of them, are pretty blunt. Some a little bit more nuanced than others. but it always is from a place of truth, and truth is blunt, and truth is not accepted by everybody, regardless if it's true or not. So I understand your point of view. Look, I get backlash every day with things that happen on this show. Can you imagine? I have millions of people who watch this show sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, and they'll say something, and I'm like, oh, that's all right. That's where you are at that point. So I understand your point of view on that. When you came back and you started to look at life a little bit differently, how did your people around you deal with you, this new version of Salvador?
People gave me a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
People knew. I was lucky to start with a nurse at the cardiology ward where I was. There was me and two more guys that day that survived the heart attack. One had a heart transplant and the other one just survived. And we wake up, we look to each other, and we could see light coming out of both of us. It was like, did you see him? And he was like, yeah, did you see him? I say, yeah. So, and the nurse that was doing post-care of cardiology, she has years and years of experience. It's like she knew where she was. She was used to dealing with all this spirituality. She was this beautiful, used to all of this happening. So when my family came to pick it up, she was like, listen, your son has been with God. He knows exactly what he has to do. You guys leave him alone. This was the message.
Wow. She was an angel.
Yeah, it was an angel. Beautiful, beautiful angel, receiving all of these people back every day, what she does. So that helped a bit. And I changed completely. My feeding habits, my actions, my thinking, mostly my thinking, my being changed completely. And family was very supportive, who I was living with, very supportive. And then I understood that it was like I didn't even have time to convince other people of what I'd been through. I had so much to apply that I needed to get going. It was like, wait, I need to fit in this and I need to fit in that. Let me integrate that and let me integrate this. So I don't need to worry with that and I don't need to worry with this. And what makes me happy? What do I really want? And who am I? So when I had contact with other people, the ones that cared, they would be usually satisfied after the first conversation, after the first minute of interacting with me. They'd be like, oh, okay, all right, that's fine. They have things that worry them and concerns them, and maybe they're on their own quest. So at the same time, I didn't feel, if someone really wanted to know, and I felt immediately that I could help them. Like it's been happening since I did some podcasts. I had people emailing me, or when I published my book, they emailed me and asking for questions because they were going through grief, through deceased family, through mental conflicts. How can I deal with it? And I tried to help them as much as I could. So when you feel the person is receptive and open to something, I go all in. I'm happy to share as much as you want to, as far as you want to go. But when they don't, I don't insist. I don't persist. Who knows their path?
I would have to agree the same way, because so many people, after the show, that meet me, some people are curious. I'm like, is this near-death experience stuff real? Or is this channeling stuff real? And I go, whether I believe it's real or not is irrelevant to me. What is the message? Is the message bring you hope? Does the message bring you peace? Does the message bring you value? I don't care how it gets to you. It could be some crazy person apparently channeling some entity from another world or a reality, or from an angel or whatever. I don't care. What are they saying? And does it ring true? If it does, use it in your life. If it doesn't, let it go and move on with life. And that's how I look at all of this stuff. Everything I look at, regardless if I believe or not, it's irrelevant. I do, on the record, do believe in near-death experiences. I do believe in channeling. There's too much proof out there. There's actual scientific proof on the channeling side, definitely. On the near-death experience side, they're even started, when you get neurosurgeons having a near-death experience and having, real proof of what happened to them, that's the impossibility of it. There's so many of those stories. So, but I agree with you. Like, you can't try to change somebody or try to project your ideas on somebody that's not receptive. So I just go, hey, if it's for you, great, man. If it isn't, go watch another show.
I wonder that, because I saw, and that's another reason why I wanted to chat with you, because I did have a glimpse of the amount of NDE podcasts you have and all the channelers and spiritual teachers, and which was a relief. And I wondered, wow, do I have anything to tell them? Maybe not, but I wanted to chat with you anyway. I was very excited, and I follow excited. So
I appreciate that.
And that was that is another thing. It's irrelevant if people believe it or not, because if people who didn't have a near-death experience, as much as they study, as much as they read books, as much as they make medical examinations, any analysis method that we do here, not any, but we're still analyzing through the physical realm. We're still in this box. We're trying to analyze what's going on that other box. And you can't if you haven't been to the other box. You need to be on the other box to analyze the other box. So we can try. It's fun, yes, and I love it. I love that people, I love the curiosity, and I'm sure it's going to have its fruits and its results, even if not immediate. All this science exploring near-death experience. I remember back in the 90s, I think, was a movie called, was it Flatlines?
Oh yeah, Flatliners. Flatliners.
Yeah, Flatliners.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland, William Baldwin. Yes, that's I can listen. There's a certain area of movies that I can hit every single time. 87 to the mid 90s. No one can beat me at trivia. Yes, I love that movie. Directed by Joel Schumacher. Yes.
Is it? Oh wow.
Yes. I love that movie, and that was when they started to play around with the idea of dying and coming back. In the movie, of course, when they come back, they bring back some demons or some bad stuff and things like that to make it a horror movie. But they started to play with these ideas, and it started to play with those ideas in the mainstream. And that's the power of movies, where when society or the consciousness of the planet is ready, these ideas start to come up. It started in books, like in Jules Verne, with his scientific ideas and science fiction. And all of a sudden, no one ever thought of a rocket ship before that. And then all of a sudden, 60 years later, 80 years later, how many years later, we're on the moon, or we're in space, or we're doing things like that. So I think these ideas come in. But yes, Flatliners was one of the first, I think one of the first times I ever thought about that at a deeper level. It wasn't a near-death experience. It wasn't. It had to be popcorned up.
Well, I felt at the time I saw the movie, and I was like, "Ooh, I would try that." I did. That's how I saw that movie, saying, "Wow, this is cool. Look at that. I'll try that. That sounds interesting. Geez, what am I going to be? A designer or, an architect, or I don't know?" Because I did try to be a designer and an architect, but I was like, those things would captivate my whole attention since young age. That would be like that. Yeah, I'm in for that. And then I'm not surprised that I've been through what I've been, because then I look, oh yeah, that's me. Oh, okay, I remember. Yeah. Yes, and there was another thing that I was having a recent. Since then, I've searched for all the information regarding this subject, and then I had I've searched all channeled material. When I try to understand what is going on with me, I'm on the physical, but when this entity speaks with me, if it comes through a tree, that like I could see a channel. It was like the flower, the leaves would go fuzzy. There was like an opening of almost a portal. I don't want to say a portal, not to be, you have to be careful what we say these days, but that physical matter would change, where I would feel that entity coming through and speaking and then going away. Because if I had a question, he would come and answer. And then, so since then, I didn't know anyone. So after 1 or 2 years of dealing with this and trying to find a job, I had bills to pay. I had to go back to being physical. I had to forget all this stuff. Not to forget, but I had to be physical. I started researching everything from all these subjects, not everything, but as much as I could. And the relief that it was to see channelers and channeled material. I found Seth first, and I went through Seth. I think 5 times I've been through that book, to Seth materials. And my relief was, this guy knows it. He's been there. He knows what I'm talking about. And then I met Esther Hicks or Abraham. And I was like, okay, Abraham is speaking from this perspective now, because this is true too. And I couldn't, it was a relief for me to find real physical information about what I'd seen and what I've been through, because people don't believe you. If you say, yeah, no, you create your own reality, whatever you focus on, just try to be your highest vibration and your life will be beautiful. People don't care about that. People don't want to hear that. They want practical things. No, everything depends on you. Whatever you experience, you can change your reality. So when I started digging on these channelers, and then I found Theo and then Bashar and Wendy, and then digging in and finding another channeler, and not so well known either. I've been through many channelers, because it was so gratifying first to feel that I was not alone and what I've been through was not freakish. It was like, such a relief. And then, as you said before, the purity of the message, when the message, you feel it and you know it, and there's no questions. And if it's helpful, if it's useful, just run with it, and it's good. And on channel material, I don't know if you know the books of Ra, the Law of One.
Of course, yeah. I've had episodes on that, yes, and I've read yes, Ra and Thor, yeah, the Emerald Tablets and the Law of One, yeah, of course.
On this one, the Law of One, he was explaining I think I'm on volume 2, and he was explaining that the only chakra that has a connection when we go from physical to non-physical, 6 chakras only belong to the physical world, and only the third eye chakra, your soul, or which makes sense, is the only one that it exists when you're dead, or when you leave the physical body and you're over there. And I had one of those moments of pure clarity of, that makes so much sense, because the tunnel, the path to get there, the light on the other side, this is a link. The soul that is you being you, the third eye, you're accessing your pineal glands. And so again, you can judge if you want to believe it or not. However, being through the experiences that I've been, and having other channeler sharing this type of information, to me was 1 + 1 = 2. Was like, it's obvious. Oh, so that's where I flew into the other side. That was the link. That was the tunnel. Small things that only give respect to me, but I just find it too interesting. Like, I'm guessing you find them too.
I find it semi-interesting because I have the show. So yes,
yeah,
I do like talking about it. More importantly, I like sharing this information to a large audience, because it's information that needs to get out there. And I think that's one of the reasons why the show is in existence, is to kind of put these stories out there in a big way. And also, I think, to hopefully attract people who would have never looked for it. They'll come in through a near-death experience, but then they'll listen to a channeling, or they'll come in through a channeling and they'll listen to a quantum physicist talk about simulation theory, or entanglement, and you start getting into those worlds, and then you start getting into ancient civilizations, and you start going, it's all connected. Everything we talk about on the show, it's all connected in different ways. It's kind of like when you were in that way station, there was so many different places, so many points of light, if you will. It's similar to this. It's I think my job to do that. So that's what I try to do. Sal, it's been such a great talking to you, my friend. I'm going to ask you a few questions I ask all of my guests. What is your definition of living a fulfilled life?
That one, following my true self, the satisfaction of true self, because I know the consequences of me being truly happy, truly satisfied. If I'm truly satisfied, everything else benefits around me. Everything, not only the satisfaction that it gives me, but that's what I see. To honor myself and to follow my satisfaction. And by satisfaction, that I'm talking at the deep meaning. I'm not
talking about drugs, alcohol, and rock and roll. Got it. Now, if you had a chance to go back in time and talk to little Sal, what advice would you give him?
Oh, that's a fun one. Oh, I would have told him, that's a difficult one. That's not difficult. It's pretty easy, because it's funny, because you work with movies. When I was young, obviously I was like I want to go to Hollywood when I was 10, 14, whatever. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make movies. I'm going to go to Hollywood. That's the place to be.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
Because you are there, so you've been there, so you know, and you get it, I'm sure. and then is believe in yourself. Just listen to yourself. Everything is in your heart. Your heart controls. It's just obviously after a heart attack, it's easy for me to be heart centered. Just believe in yourself. Listen to yourself.
How do you define God or source?
It's, a lot of sentences are coming through my mind. God, grand overall design, everything, life force energy, love, life. It's everything. It's everything. It's in everything. Either we want it or not, but it's in everything.
What is the ultimate purpose of life?
Experiencing it, to do it, to live it, to follow your signature is your signature. Nobody has it. Mm-hmm. So I see it this way. So if I'm here now in the physical, and I would like to be an actor, but I also would like to be an astronaut, and then I would like to be a painter, and I would like to be a surfer. If I could split myself, not split, but extend myself and live all those experiences at the same time, mm-hmm. live them fully, without whoever I sent there not asking me questions, just do it. Just go surfing. You just go be an actor. You go be rich. You go be whatever. I lost track why this came to my head. I lost the point of why
no, but that the ultimate purpose of life. And when you said that, by the way, that's so, I don't know why it rang true to me, because I always say that to myself too. I was like sometimes I'll watch, I'm like, man, I wish I learned how to play the guitar. I'm like, man, I really wish I could just pick up a guitar and just go, because it's such a frustrating, being a filmmaker is very frustrating, because you need thousands of, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, for you to create your art. And you need teams of people to believe in your vision in order to create the art, as opposed to an artist who could just sit down and draw and it's done. Or a musician who could pick up a guitar and play. You get to express yourself so much easier than a filmmaker. Filmmaker is one of the more difficult artistic endeavors on this planet. And there's a reason why I chose that this time, I'm sure. Apparently I wanted some abuse.
I want to go through that. That looks pretty much what I need.
I could be just this easy. No, I'm gonna go through this. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. And my friend, where can people find out more about you, your book, and the work that you're doing?
I'm being a bit shy on that area. I haven't been promoting myself because I think I've seen on your podcast, Coming Out of the Spiritual Closet, I want to evolve more in that sense. And I created a website 2 months ago, but I don't think it's ready to be inspected. Okay. I launched a book 5 years ago, but it was written 7 or 8 years ago. I do have a book which on Amazon is called Captain Heart. It's always good, but I'm working on my second one, which is just precise things that I want to say without too much narrative. Just boom, boom, boom. This, I think it's worth knowing, and that's it. Whoever likes it. And the rest is still in the making. I'm going to be honest. It's still in the making. I tried YouTube. I tried speaking because I feel the need to tell. Sometimes I think that thing comes through me and I just feel the need. You got to speak this now. You got to put it on video. You got to say it. Just go and say this. And so I'm thinking about that. But so far, I'm happy. It's in the making. And I appreciate you asking. But so far, it's all in the making. I'm happy just to come here and chat with you.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, if whatever links are available will be in the show notes and in the description for people to see. We'll figure that out afterwards. It's all good, my friend. And do you have any parting messages for the audience?
Yeah. Less is more. Just grab that subtle, shiny vibration that is you. And it's okay to let go of everything else. And the right step will show itself. It's just be happy to be happy. Just accept that it's okay to be happy. It's easy. It's easy. It's easy if you want it. Just be easy on yourself. I think that's what I say to the people I work to all the time. Just be easy on you. Just relax. Be easy on you. But at the same time, I don't want to offend anyone that it's in a special quest, right? But that's would be my message to the audience.
Offend,
Yeah.
not offend, irrelevant. I mean, we're
Who
all
cares?
just sitting on this rock, spinning 1,000 miles an hour in between other rocks. Doesn't really matter. Sal,
Exactly. Exactly.
thank you so much for coming on the show, my friend, and sharing
Thank you so much.
your story with us, my friend. So I truly,
Thank
truly
you for
appreciate
having
you.
me. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue your journey, and don't forget to subscribe.